Hello, everybody. Bundeswehr Bob here, along with Ben Magnus. We're taking over more of the Soviet Onion,
Soviet Onion,
or Sergey Land, as I like to call it anyway. In my particular,
well, I feel like I don't know if this is Sergey Land. Sergey's on the opposite side of it. Like this would just be, we'd just be the initial layers of Sergey Land if it was an onion.
Well, Sergey Land is actually because he lives in Vladivostok, and that's actually under occupation by quite a few Japanese units. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, six garrison units. Well, 19 brigades of garrison, and then a bunch of airplanes. So Sergey's not living it up right now. That's like aside from calling it Sergey Land, though.
No. We could.
Japan has actually been really, really busy. They almost have control of the entirety of the Indian subcontinent,
which is a little surprising. I don't think I've ever seen the AI do that before.
This is all our fault.
I've seen them do a couple things like make landings in like the Dutch East Indies and take Singapore and things like that, and then never do anything again, which is pretty normal. That's exactly what they did in this playthrough. But I don't think I've ever seen them like ham bone India that badly.
This tank needs to get back over here with its owner. Don't you be running away. You have more rebels down in southeastern France.
France? Oh, I got some horsies going to take care of them.
Horsies, yeah.
Yeah.
Nay,
so how did your Stellaris game go the other day?
Oh, the multiplayer. First we used a mod that was actually pointed out to me by Commissar Roach, which was it was like a rebalance mod that balances out the ships a little bit more and makes combat take place at a distance that makes more sense instead of the furball you get with normal Stellaris.
Instead of where they just start bumping each other's bridges into each other's faces.
Yeah, because that's how space battles work.
Yeah, you could just get right up in the enemy's face and hurl vicious insults at each other. I cast vicious slander on you.
It's like that scene out of Top Gun, like the first scene where he's giving him the bird from the cockpit.
Yeah.
Same thing. But it devolved into, the usual, like all these alliances started to coalesce together where I think I got more players on my side, but the other one is more technologically advanced.
So the normal Ben or Bob playthrough where it turns into two grand coalitions. Each one
I don't know if
kind of afraid to
coalitions.
make the first offensive move.
Well, I mean, there's still a lot of time left in that particular game. We only made it to like the early mid game in that, so there's no crises have happened yet, and which I mean, being in mid game is going to be fairly boring. I think as people just kind of take on AI. I mean, as with like any Paradox game, especially ones that have a limited amount of, I would say, the PvE content, player versus environment, or player versus AI kind of content.
Yeah.
The multiplayer component makes it better, especially when there was one scenario that unfolded. So this is actually like true to fashion, like a first contact war, which is kind of one of the things advertised for Stellaris. Which first contact war is if you meet an alien species just out in space, you can start shooting at them, or you can try to communicate with them through a project.
Them the first time.
Right. So it was Roach and I think Orwellian Enthusiast who
he's still around? Oh, he abandoned me. He abandoned me for you? Now I'm offended.
This sounds like a conversation you have with him. But anyway, Roach had started colonizing a planet because they hadn't discovered each other yet. So Roach started colonizing a planet. And then that planet turned out to be inside Orwellian space. Oh. But because they didn't see each other yet,
they couldn't see the borders or all that good stuff.
Yeah, so what ended up happening is Orwell was like, no, that's not cool. So they went to war over it. And Orwell had Roach beaten back to like his last planet. Now Roach is playing a species that looks a lot like xenomorphs. So the scene that was illustrated was that the landing forces for Orwell were pretty much just jumping off the ship, Starship Trooper style, and being greeted by a bunch of xenomorphs from the Alien franchise.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so that's what was going on there. Now, Orwell was a little bit upset because he was thinking that once you got enough war score, you can just force the peace. but that works against the AI. It doesn't work against human players. Human players have to accept it, unless there's, I think, what are the conditions for it? I think it has to be, you have to have a flat 100% war score to enforce that on a player. But anyway, or we'll end up having a white piece, so nothing was lost or gained to the other side. Aside for time, Roach was set back a little bit, but
yeah,
that's one of those moments where it's just like, oh, okay, that's happening. This is a thing now.
That's a lot of stuff.
I couldn't see any of it because it was on the opposite side of the galaxy, mind you. But
so you're just getting the sporadic reports through the wireless.
Yep, that's what was going on. I'm eager for Leviathans, though, mostly because of all the story content that we're going to get out of it. Why is this split up like that? Oh, it's because that HQ is way, way too far away.
Convoy engaged. I don't approve. So my 2 German aircraft carriers finished.
Oh man,
I just have to wait.
Who are you going to project air power against?
Well, they're going to join the heavy cruiser flotilla, which they just did. I actually have to assign the carrier air groups to them, though. That would help. All right, so you are going to rebase to carrier. Accept that. Hey, planes are fast. Who knew?
No.
So I got the 2 carrier air groups. I just need to wait for the Graf Zeppelin and the Peter Strasser to get their organization, and then they're going to sortie out against the English convoy raiders.
Oh man!
So I'm gonna need some Italian units to actually move up and take the provinces bordering the southern reach of my of the frontier.
Through the Soviet territory and stuff?
Yeah, I need you to.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I'm moving units up and stuff. So we're moving at the speed of pasta. So
your tanks are slow, and you should feel slow.
Is that yelling at me?
But then again, this is where almost all of the Panzers are, so they're very fast.
I wasn't prepared for this level of success.
Yeah, I don't think I was either. I was expecting, like an encirclement and a push, but not like you destroyed the entire Soviet military in the first year of the war. Let's see. The Bismarck and the Tirpitz are done. I don't ever know where to put the emphasis on that word. Tirpitz or Tirpitz? Yes, it's important.
If you're looking for guidance from me on this, you're not going to get any.
Yeah.
All right, you guys move up that direction because our German friends are like, you guys need to do the thing, so we're going to do the thing over there.
I do actually need them to think.
They're thinking so hard. And why don't you guys...
Because that section of the front is just wide open at the moment.
I'm trying the best I can, okay?
All right, so why don't you guys go here. And then hopefully it doesn't bottleneck too badly for you, as long as you can get some supply routes in there. But then again, chances are the war is going to end before the winter sets in, so...
We're in August, right? Well, I need to try to take all this territory that is through the Caucasus before winter. I'm not sure I can move that fast.
Also Stalingrad.
Don't forget about Stalingrad. Where is Stalingrad?
Never forget. Oh, German medium tanks against Russian light tanks. That's gotta be a slaughter. Oh, it's a slaughter.
Russian medium tanks against German heavy tanks, you said?
German Meads against Russian lights. So, like, Panzer 3s and 4s against, I don't know, like, T-70s, T-60s. I have piercing of 8 and armor of 7. They have armor 5 and piercing 5. So I can cut through them like a hot knife through butter, and they can't touch me.
Can't touch this.
We're old.
Well, the Finnish have made some advances.
Yes, well, that's because I cut off the Soviet units that were actually giving them trouble, and they starved out, and then they were able to move on them and make some progress.
Yeah, Soviet Union has not had it good. France didn't have it good. The Soviet Union didn't have it good.
Most of the allies got wrecked pretty nicely.
This is all Britain's fault.
Yeah. This is the English's fault.
Very specifically their fault.
Yeah.
How are my ships coming out?
There is one technically occupied French, well, two spots in France that were mine, and then they rebelled, and then they were France's, and then I took them back. So now they're technically occupied French territory. It's stupid. One of the worst systems in Hoi 3 is the who owns land, why, and how for why. Just doesn't work out well. All right, Orel fell. Another city's down. Should probably actually give.
Oh, so we got our first dev diary for the Hoi 4 DLC or expansion thingamajig that's coming up.
Well, I don't. It may have been the one I already saw, but what does it say?
Well, that's what I was going to discuss real quick with you because I thought you had actually seen it. There's only the one that I know of that's come out for it.
It's probably the one I read, so it's probably still apt.
So what's it going on? What's going on with it?
Well, the last thing I read was that, and it actually infuriated me slightly.
Okay,
was that they're adding part of the paid content. So this is not part of the free patch. This is something that you have to pay for the DLC. Is the ability to put your units on blitz stance, and blitz stance tells them to maintain the cohesion of the front as it moves. So you know how like say like you're fighting and you got like a small army that's in charge of like a 4 province wide area, and then you let them do their thing, you tell them to attack, you come back, and all of a sudden it's the front's the width of China.
Yes.
So now if you put them on blitz, and I'm using air quotes here, they will maintain 4 provinces wide, so that you can tell them to stay this wide, ignore the rest of the fronts and just move on this front in this direction. And the problem, yes, that's nice because you could use it to make purposely make pockets and stuff like that. Yes, it's nice, but the fact that that's part of the paid content is what kind of gets my goat. I don't like that.
Yeah, I can feel that.
I don't like that. It's the front management is bad AI, and the fact that, oh, now the AI is slightly less bad, but you have to pay for it, kind of rubs me the wrong way.
I'll have to read the dev diary because I don't know if that doesn't sound quite correct.
No, wait. What part of it do you think I'm misquoting?
I think that there might be a misinterpretation because I've never known Paradox to charge for AI improvements like that before. Or not I suppose it's not AI improvement.
They're not playing it off as an AI improvement. They're playing it off as a new feature because it is a button added to the interface. When you go to make a plan, you can put them on regular, like a regular front or a blitz front. And for starters, I don't think blitz is the right word for that. That doesn't make sense to me. That you're attaching the word blitz to maintaining front cohesion. That doesn't, that doesn't seem like a one-to-one, like comparison from my point of view. And like maybe I read this wrong. But it's very specifically stated that it is part of the paid portion of the content, is the ability to make a battle plan that will purposely make a pocket. Yes, it's a nice addition. The fact that it's not part of the free patch and that it's very specifically stated to be part of the paid content is what rubs me the wrong way. Because for me, that's something that should have been part of the battle planner, or just an innate, already, settled in there part of the AI from day one. The fact that the AI cannot maintain front cohesion, and they're charging for what's basically an AI improvement, just... I don't know if you can tell by the way I'm talking about it, but I'm not happy with it.
Ben doesn't sound very excited about any of this.
Well,
no,
no,
I don't
what do
blame
you. Think
you.
On it? If I read it twice, so I think I'm right about it. But give it what I said, and let's say that I'm right about the way I interpreted that. How do you feel about it?
Well, if what I'm hearing is correct, and all things being as they are, one of the big features of Hoi 4 that I recall being advertised was the whole battle planner thing. Like the game functions around battle plans, right? So
Yeah.
I understand the train of logic that would go to, hey, we're going to add a bunch of stuff to this headline feature of the game. We should charge for it since it's such a big thing for the game. I kind of understand that twist to it. If I were talking to like a Paradox employee about it, I'm sure that's probably some vein of response would probably come by way of that. Is my guess for that. Now, one of the things I think that's railed against about Hoi 4 a lot is the fact that the battle planner exists the way it does anyway.
The battle planner sucks.
Well, right, it's that kind of sentiment, especially from what I've noticed. People like you who come from a background like Hearts of Iron 3. Battle players just like, hey, the troop management here is bad. You should feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I get a lot, or what I interpret a lot out of that. Which that's it's a valid criticism, I think, given the expectations that I think come along with going from Hoi 3 to Hoi 4. Like I get it, and understand it. I'm not really excited about the idea of improving the battle planner by adding those kinds of maneuvers as a paid feature, because I think that diminishes the experience for those that may not pick up that DLC expansion. I'd rather see it as a free feature. Personally,
that seems like very clearly something that should be part. Paradox has a very specific, patch DLC model where I don't know if you guys, maybe some people don't really have been following them closely like we do and understand it. But the way it works is that when Paradox releases a DLC, there is a free patch that always comes out on the same day at the same time, and the free patch adds in features to the game that changes features, balances features, adds stuff into the game, and that's part of the free patch. Everybody gets that. You don't have to pay for it. Then on top of that, there is the paid DLC that you can download, which adds on top of that even more. And EU4 is a good example of what's of that mentality, where the way they rebalance technology, and which is a huge change of the game and a huge improvement to the game, a huge addition, is part of the free patch. And then stuff that works off of that is part of the paid DLC. So they go hand in hand really well usually. But with this one, it's just like, what are you thinking? You've completely, from my point of view, they've completely departed from that strategy and that mentality by making you pay for the stuff that normally, given this, business strategy, would be free.
Yeah. So I think what I would rather see as part of paid DLC, I think, are, given what Hoi 4 has going on, is more country-specific focuses because some of that I can understand is very time-consuming to look up the history of all these nations and stuff in World War II. So like, individual focus trees, I can see that, unique units for all these different countries.
What I see as good additions to, good potential additions for paid DLC would be like an introduction of a more in-depth political system, or an in-depth intelligence or espionage system. That makes sense to me if it's, a whole addition to the game. But when you're taking something and saying we're slightly rebalancing it, and now you have to pay for it because somebody spent 4 minutes coming up with a button they added to the user interface, that doesn't jive.
I mean, this is only Dev Diary 1 of what I'm sure will be a handful that will come our way before this comes out, which is supposed to be like around Christmas. Is that right? Christmas. December sometime.
Yeah, winter, which probably means, Paradox is not a company that goes, we need to hit Christmas to get those Jesus sales. They generally don't care about the holiday mindset, but just based on having played Paradox for a long time and knowing their how their development cycle works, Christmas is probably about right.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that future dev diaries will be like, okay, this is part of the free, this is what you're getting, and this is the stuff we're adding to the game. But I mean, from what I've seen so far, it really just seems like it's not living up to expectations, or not even only my own expectations, but what the company has taught us to expect, I guess. Well, maybe expectations, not my own personal expectations, but company expectations from their games.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong? Is fixing the AI and adding a button something that you feel should be part of a paid content?
Well, I mean, one, we have no idea what the price point is, right? I mean, if it's like a $5 DLC, then like who cares? But we also don't know what all the features are yet either. That's just one of the features that has been mentioned. It might be just because the fact that they're done with this fully fleshed out. So I have to reserve judgment because I don't know what the entire product looks like yet.
I reserve no judgment.
Apparently not.
I'm pre-existing salty though, so
there's a special place in your heart for everything Hoi 4 anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been really looking forward to the first DLC. I've completely committed to the fact that it's not going to make the game it's not going to make Hoi 4 the game I want, but that it will make the game better. And but from what I'm seeing so far, it's just like, let's polish the hell out of this turd because we've already committed to it.
Yeah. I mean, the only Paradox game that I was like at for launch prior to, becoming a YouTuber and all that kind of stuff was EU4.
See,
right?
I was like, they were like 4 DLCs deep before I got to EU4.
Well, and I don't recall EU4 being like a bad game or anything like that. It was a little more bare than I was used to because I had actually played a bunch of EU3 and there was expansions for that already, and it was very fleshed out, and I really enjoyed EU3. EU4, I don't recall having the same feelings about EU4 that you have for like Hoi 4 from Hoi 3.
Yeah,
I don't recall that, but there is a track record of Paradox releasing a game that had specific design goals in mind. I'm not going to say incomplete because I think that's erroneous to say that, because they are. It's hard to say a
Paradox game is incomplete when they're never really complete either. They're always evolving.
Yeah, so if you think about it's kind of the track I was going on. If you go from EU4 started to where it is today, it's a totally different game practically, from where it came from. Even if you're only 2 or 3 DLCs into it, and you go to now where we're at with Rights of Man, way different. So many features have been added. So
I'm still waiting for the Divine Win EU4.
Now I don't know what how far you can take that with Hearts of Iron 4 because the time period is so different. Or it's not different, but it's so much smaller. EU4. I mean, there's a lot of comparison I see this a lot in like Reddit, which the question is, hey, I play a lot of CK2 or EU4. Hey, how is Hearts of Iron 4?
It's a little apple and orangey comparatively.
So much so
because of the time frame mostly. You're talking about going from you're talking about what was CK2 is 769 to 1440. So you're talking about 700 years, and in EU4 you're talking about 400 years, and in CK in Hoi you're talking about less than a decade. And I think that's why I'm a little more critical of Hoi 4 than I am of the other ones, because this game is specifically designed to be gritty and granular comparative to the other ones, where a slightly wonky feature can be whitewashed when you're talking about decades and hundreds and centuries of gameplay. But when when it's a very specifically granular and detailed game, and then you just kind of whitewash over a feature, it sticks out more.
Yeah, I can totally see and understand that.
I think I may have hit a soft spot with Bob by using his favorite word a couple times. Oh god, upgrades for the Wehrmacht right now. 154 IC. Well, we upgrade all of our artillery pieces and all the medium tanks. All of the upgrades. So we should have Panzer
Guys, I'm just chasing these HQ units around in like the Caucasus now. It's like
oh yeah, this
division.
is in most of the sectors I'm fighting in right now. It's full route in every direction. They've tried a couple local counterattacks approaching Moscow, which is one province away at this point. But that's it.
I wonder if I can go there. My advance is kind of still a little bit along the southern German advance, just because a lot of these units I had to move a lot of them up from like the Balkans to where they are now. Yep. Just because it was a very, very narrow corridor to try to get in and stuff. But
this is just a freaking slaughter. Let's see, what's the Tula is about to fall. Seriously, Moscow is. I'm fighting for the outskirts of Moscow right now and winning. It's actually a very thin section of the front where around Moscow, but I think the Soviet units are so wrecked that it's like we engage in combat with a Soviet division at like maybe 10 or 15% organization, and then they all die.
Your technology supply. Is there anything else as far as what should I be prioritizing as far as my tech goes?
Anything supply related, anything IC related or research related generally helps overall. And then if you're going for actual military tech, all of the infantry tech is critical.
I like infantry tech.
All of the infantry tech should basically always be up to date. Speaking of which, no, mine is up to date. I thought mine was not, but it is. And then we get to do Operation Bob Lion.
Bob Lion. Well, Bob Lion will come after I do Operation Spain Bob. I don't know.
Spain Bob?
Yeah, because I don't have a good supply chain.
El Babo.
El Babo. God, culturally sensitivity abounds here.
Hey, I'm an equal opportunity discriminator. I'm equally culturally insensitive to everyone. Working at Disney for so long turned me very callous.
That's right. We were concentrating on destroyers instead of light cruisers as Italy for this go around.
And Germany's just like, carriers! What do you need that?
Hey guys, I got a boat!
Oh, I got two. I wouldn't call them modern, but they're carriers.
They can put planes on them. There's a deck.
They're kind of like the initial American carriers, which was like, let's take like, an old ship and gut the shit out of it and put some wood on top. Like, do you ever seen a picture of the USS Ranger, the first American aircraft carrier?
I have not.
I mean, the hangar isn't even enclosed. It's just like they like carved out the guts of a ship and then put a wooden deck on stilts, and then the planes just hang out under it. You could see, if you're like at sea level, you could just see right through it. It's like a beach bungalow kind of thing.
I'm trying to prioritize all this stuff because essentially all I really did was I just threw a bunch of technology in the queue and didn't really think about its priority so much.
Accidentally created a pocket.
How do you accidentally do that? That's like Hearts of Iron 4 level stuff.
A lot of the panzers in the south, the Russian resistance basically just completely crumbled. So it was just a matter of moving from one province to the next, and then slightly north of that, there was a little bit of resistance, so they just kind of naturally flanked an area. Just because it is kind of what they call not a Canterbury circle.
Leon Trotsky has died.
Well, I'm sure he's not the only Russian who's dead.
Ooh.
Culturally insensitive.
Shots fired, literally. Paraguay is an exception to the Allies. Well, I guess it's time to pack up and go home.
We're fucked.
Oh, no. How's my front doing? Oh, looks like some of these units are
Pack it
actually
in,
finally
Bob.
starting.
Go home.
Oh, no, Paraguay. The Italians' mortal enemy.
I mean, maybe it's just because I'm used to playing Black Ice, but this is just easier than I remember. It's probably because I got used to playing Black Ice, where it's, you know, punishingly bad. I don't know if you were in chat much yesterday, but Robin, my admin Robin, put up a picture of his Battle of Moscow, and it was like 350,000 of 2.5 million Germans died in the battle, and it lasted for like 21 months or something like that.
Jesus.
See, I think when we get to Black Ice and you get over the initial like shock of additional complexity, I think you'll like it.
I probably will. That's typically how I do a lot of these types of games, is because it's just like, hey, I need to know what these concepts are. Do I know the concepts? Sweet. Let's move on to the advanced level.
Yeah.
It's like there's a progression.
That's paradox all over. Is you know, you look at it and you're like, fuck, I can't enjoy this because I don't know what I'm doing. And then once you figure it out, you're like, yay, let's commit genocide.
I know there's been a number of people who are like, you guys need to play Black Ice together. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that's been a thing.
That's a common thread. Oh, we are about 3 minutes over.
You're 3 minutes over.
I am 3 minutes over, and so are you.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. Please remember to like and subscribe if you're a new viewer. If you're an old viewer, well, keep watching. That's all there is to it. And keep enjoying your time, damn it. If you're not enjoying your time, I'm going to find out. Mostly because you're going to stay in the comments and be overly crass about it. But anyway, we'll catch you guys later.
I think Bob's a little salty. Goodbye.